friends, welcome back with the Plapper. Platypus to the name. It is a new day in the Marvel Snap universe and a new patch. So you know what that means. Plat is going to read things that you don't want to have to read for yourself, but I'll be giving my opinions on it as I go. So we're just going to go into it. I do have a few things to say. Actually, really quick, one thing I wanted to say, they're adding, this is the collector's tokens. I'm assuming you guys know about that at this point. I am far from the biggest content creator. If you're watching me, I'm assuming you've seen many explanations on what the collector tokens are. And this is now live, but they'll basically allow you to target cards that are in a, that you want. They're going to show up in the store every 8 hours, and then you'll be able to lock it if you want to get something and come back to it. But these collection levels here, these thresholds, I do have a little insight here. So, after you hit level 500, right, you get 3,000. If at the time of logging in, you're between 1,000 and 2,999, you get 6,000. And then if you're over 3,000, you get 12,000 tokens. So I really dislike that 2,999 gets 6,000, and then one more collection level gets 12,000, but whatever. I hit 3,000, and I'm a day one player, but not a beta player. So, I have spent a significant amount of money, and I'm done spending money in the game now. I think I've spent all that I want to for the next several months, and I've got a great collection. But so if you're not a really heavy spender or playing in beta, this is almost unreachable for nearly every player. So most players are probably going to be at the 6,000 to 3,000 range. And the 12,000 is very expensive to reach. I'm embarrassed, so I'm not going to talk about it in this video. We'll talk about it later. To be fair though, I didn't use anything out of my bank account. I made money when I was playing my last gacha game on YouTube, so it was just YouTube money. Like, I have a business account, so it was YouTube money, and none of it came out of like my rent or stuff, so it's not as irresponsible as it sounds. Anyway, here are the patch notes for Marvel Snap's latest update, November 29, 2022. With the introduction of the token shop, collector's tokens, we're on snapzone.com, not the official, just heads up. They're adding Series 4, Series 5 cards, a new system of collector's tokens, and they're adding their own stuff as well. So, new feature, collector's tokens are here. New cards. So they added, I believe, 16 new cards, right? 10 cards in Series 4, which are 10 times more rare than Series 3, and then Series 5, which is 10 times more rare than Series 4. So, 1 out of 10 times you get a Series 4 card, 1 out of 100 times you get a Series 5 card. I suppose that's the way it sounds. If you have all collection 3, you have all Series 3 cards, does that mean the Series 4 then becomes the default that you're getting that, or is it still artificially difficult to get? I honestly don't know. That's something we're gonna have to find out as people with full collections actually have that there. But boosters no longer appear in collector's caches. Thank you. Although I did have many situations where my collector's caches were opening and they weren't showing me what they gave me, so they either gave me nothing and were glitched, or it was just not a pop-up. Not sure. It may have been collector's tokens, but I can't click on it to see what it gave me, so I'm not sure if they were bugged or if that was just a visual bug instead of an actual resource bug. Improved bad luck for collector's caches. This is great. I actually noticed this. I got a lot more cards than I normally get when I was opening my stuff today. Players at the same collection level will have nearly the same number of cards. I assume this means going forward, because it's not like people that had collections complete at 2,500 are now going to be, or now it doesn't mean other players they're not losing cards, and the players that don't have close to a full collection aren't going to be gaining cards. So over the course of time, this will equalize, it sounds like. When you favorite a card variant, you can move it into all your decks. That's nice. You can now look at your opponent's titles. I like that. The end turn button is disabled for a few seconds when your opponent snaps. This should make it harder to accidentally accept the snap. This is good. If someone snaps, you could hit end turn right as someone snapping, and accidentally accept it. So now it being disabled for a few seconds is good, just to not act, because sometimes I'll be like, okay, I'll go through it, but if they're snapping, I'm out, and then that could suck. This is actually a big one. I really like this. First of all, my robot voice. No robot voice. Good. The infinity border has been improved. Cards upgraded to infinity look way cooler. I think coolness is a subjective factor, but this is about as objective as it gets. They look way cooler. We don't even need to wonder. But so let's take a look. I can't show you what they looked like before, but let's go to quality here. And let's just scroll down to the bottom. Look at this. Look how much cooler this border is. It was just like a red. It was like this, but a little purpley. But now they have like a really, really cool border. This is like way better. I really like this. One of my biggest downsides, I thought the Infinity upgrade looked kind of shit. So I'm happy that this looks significantly better. Could you guys see that okay on the video? Yeah, you can see it just fine. I really like that. Logos have been added to the card and location power modifiers in game. I mean, that's kind of cool. This is all just like whatever, but I do really like the improved Infinity borders. And also flare modifiers. I haven't seen the flare modifiers, or if I have, I'm not aware if that's what they're called, but they added colors and whatnot. New card sounds for Magic, interesting, and Ego, Central Park, Project Pegasus, The Raft, and Death's Domain. They all had, what's weird to me is they all had good sounds. I think they all had good sounds. So I'm interested to see what they are. I want to hear them because I really like the sounds. Ego is one that I'll have to wait. Who knows? All right, balance update. So this one's actually really, really big. This is the highlight for me. I mean, the new cards and new collection system is the best, but is the highlight. But these are basically all changes I expected to happen. I was talking about them with Zombies Go Nom on I was commenting on his video. It's not like we're chatting it up. But Angela, I said, should go down to 0 power. Angela is just too far above everything else in the competition. I mean, you compare Angela to Bishop. Honestly, it's not even really close. Angela is way stronger. Angela's card this season, it's basically in many decks. It's in every deck almost, it feels like. It's just a very, very powerful card. So it losing a power, is that enough to kill the card? No way, but it is something that I think the card deserves. Destroyer going down to 15, like it seems small, it's a small percent, 15 to 16, but really there are a lot of times I've lost a Destroyer by 1 or 2 points, or I've tied the Destroyer lane and I've lost the tiebreaker in like another lane, something like that. So this is going to help tone down Destroyer. It's still going to be incredibly strong, and it's still going to likely win most games, especially if, you know, when they got Cosmo, Mr. Fantastic into Destroyer on that lane, then that could be very strong. But still, this should be no problem. But I do like the change still. Mysterio going down to 4 power, that's just fair. Mysterio's 2 cost, 5 power. I mean, he's so strong, and he also does triple procs of like everything. Like the thing is, the whole, I'm sure they explain it right here, but the downside is that he gets the 2 0 power. He clutters your own side of the board with 0 strength illusions, right? But they turn out to be an upside in a lot of games. A lot of locations will buff them. They buff your Bishop. They could even get like Ironhearted, so like they take these benefits and they keep them. So I think Mysterio getting a little bit of a hit there is very, very reasonable. He's still really strong, and I don't think it's going to decrease his level of play, just maybe his win rate a little bit. Sarah, I mean, this is weird. Sarah is a card that you can't adjust the cost of, and you can't change the ability of, really, right? Ongoing cards in your hand cost 1 less to a minimum of 1. In order to nerf this card, you can't, 1 is the smallest number, right? 5, you can't make her cost 6, and you can't make her ability weak. So the only thing you do is really remove her power, and if she was at 0 power, this card would probably still be pretty good. But so knocking it from 5 to 4, I think is almost a nothing change. I think she should go down to a 2, at least a 3, but maybe a 2. I still think she's probably going to be too good. This is not going to do much, but you never know. There'll be that 1 out of 100 games where that might matter. This is actually depressing, but probably good for the game. Onslaught's ability now stacks additively with Mystique and Onslaught Citadel, so with itself. I assume it says with effects like it, so I assume this includes if you onslaught, because Onslaught Citadel's like having an onslaught, right? So if you have Bar Sinister, so exponentially. So now instead of instead of times 2 times 4 times 8 times whatever 16, it was something like that, right? It was exponentially, and I'm not that good at math, but I know like you could get Onslaught, and you can get like up to 256 on reveal triggers if you had like Wong and double Onslaught, and then I don't even remember exactly how it worked. And by double Onslaught, I would mean like Mystique Onslaught or something. But I don't remember exactly how it worked. But I do know it was pretty crazy, and so this is something that just I think realistically, it's not going to affect the outcome of games, but it is going to affect how long you have to sit there. So even though it's going to make the game less crazy on those super combo-y games, it's also probably going to not change the outcome while also making the play experience more enjoyable for both players, because you can't leave until the final turn is resolved. And so you could be stuck for 5 minutes or something, right? Nick Fury, and so that's it for the balance. Small tweaks, right? Small tweaks. Nothing is killed. Nothing feels like the nerfs are all understandable and really just like little taps. And they're all things that I think probably should have been tapped. I think Sarah is the only one that might be a little too weak of a nerf. I think maybe it should have been a little bit stronger. But everything else seems good. Nick Fury's been added to Series 3. Yippee. We all couldn't wait to get Nick Fury. It was actually the very, very first card I opened up. I think the last card I have to get on Series 3 is Deadpool, which was the card I wanted first. So thank you. Well, the collector's tokens are here, so that'll help, I guess. But I think that's interesting. All right, bug fixes. Fixed French voiceover, interesting. Improved translation for many languages, blah, 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 blah. Improved messaging when you try to log in, blah, 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 blah. Fixed soft lock, fixed an issue, fixed an issue. Cards drawn by White Queen no longer show out of place in your hand. No longer show out of place in your hand. I'm not really sure. I haven't used White Queen that much, but this seems like you can't see your opponent's hand, so it must have been in your own hand. Things looked weird or something, or they weren't in the right order. Daredevil visual effects no longer shows over the game result screen. I mean, all right, I just thought he was that cool. Danger Room now consistently play when destroying a card. Kraven no longer plays for when you drag a card if Kraven is on your opponent's side. Omega Red and Bar Sinister no longer have over repeated sound effects. I like over repeated sound effects, but whatever. Buying a variant from the daily offer section should no longer cause the button to be invisible on the next refresh. Oh man, what a bummer. I mean, this is something that I'm sure, like, if you bought a variant and the very next one had a variant you really wanted and it happened to be in that slot, like, this has to affect like 1% of players, if that. But I mean, I guess why not fix it, right? It's definitely something that should be fixed. There's not like there's a huge amount of bugs in the game. All right, and really nothing else. Star-Lord boosters should now be in the correct color at the end of the game. Stakes will double correctly if Limbo is turned into another location on turn 6 and ends the game. Oh, really? That's actually kind of interesting, because if Limbo was in the game and you were gonna go into turn 7 and the stakes weren't going to double, you could storm it or whatever, storm the Limbo on turn 6 to destroy it, end the game, and the boosters wouldn't double. You would just get 2 boosters, or whatever, 2 cubes. So now it will actually, the game will like recalculate, like, oh, this is the final turn, this is the final turn, it will still double it. Electra's ability should be properly removed when hit by Enchantress. Interesting that it wasn't. The location TVA now doubles the cube count properly on the final turn, i.e. turn 4. God, I think this is a negative change. It's not even like a real game. It's like a fake game. You get it shouldn't have, for a game that's like half the amount of cards you get to play, it shouldn't have the same stakes. It shouldn't have the same stakes as like a full game. But whatever. Those are just either you just easy retreat, or if you have a really, really powerful deck for that kind of thing. But yeah, that's gonna be it. Not much else to talk about. I mean, there's like so much fucking stuff. They have all these known issues and stuff, but really the highlights here, right? We got some slight balance changes, and then we got the really, really cool new system here for collector's tokens and a bunch of new cards. And I already went over the new cards in another video, so you can go ahead and watch that one. But that's gonna be it for today. Much love. Per Platypus is Per Ploutopus. I will see you next time. Peace out.